evening, and welcome to Let's Talk with Lakshmi, a show about us, our people, our community, our experiences, our culture. And in the spirit of Holi, we have Professor Peter Manuel and Sri Tej Singh, who will be discussing traditional Chowtal singing.
Today, we usher in the auspicious festival of color Holi with the booming, infectious sounds of Caribbean Chowtal. So exactly where did this resilient musical style come from, and where is it going? The chiming, vibrating effects of Chowtal instruments and its interesting melodic composition is representative of Holi. It is life springing forward. It is a time to rejoice and enjoy all the colorful festivities with friends and family. Dr. Peter Manuel is a professor of ethnomusicology at John Jay College and Graduate Center of City University of New York. He has studied and written extensively about popular and traditional music of India, the Caribbean, and elsewhere. 3 of his books have earned prestigious awards. His field research has taken him to East Indian communities of Trinidad, Guyana, Suriname, Fiji, New York, California, and Bihar and Uttar Pradesh in India. Dr. Manuel brings an extensive knowledge of classical and folk music in northern India to the field of Indo-Caribbean music and culture. He is also a scholar of other ethnic music like Afro-Caribbean that is blending with rhythms and melodies of Indo-Caribbean music to create contemporary styles like soca chutney. Dr. Peter Manuel is an amateur sitarist, jazz pianist, and flamenco guitarist.
So, Peter, provide us with some background about your work regarding the Indo-Caribbean music and culture.
Well, I first got interested in Indian culture when I was in college in the early 70s, and I then spent a few years in India studying sitar and Indian music, and then I ended up in New York City teaching and came in contact with East Indians from Guyana and Trinidad, and got very interested in them and their music culture and started traveling to that area and also getting to know some of the musicians here. Okay. And then more recently going back and forth between India and the Caribbean and here and trying to understand where everything came from and how it all fit together.
Okay. Now, a lot of our viewers may not be too familiar with Chowtal singing. Can you explain a little bit about the style of Chowtal singing?
Well, I can say a few things about it, and of course I'm not the expert. I'm really a student of Chowtal, learning from the experts in the community, but it's a kind of folk song, I would say, that is sung during Phagua season, or Holi, as they might call it, in which you have, well, I would say 2 sets of people, maybe 6 people on one side and 6 on the other, and then a drummer.
Right.
And they alternate singing lines, as many people in the community know, of course, and go back and forth. And then the song itself, the melodies, I would say, might be fairly simple, but they go through this very complicated set of the music speeds up and it slows down and it gets softer and it gets louder and it has this sort of rising and falling, and it's great fun to do, and it's something that there are quite a few groups in Trinidad and Guyana, of course, and up here that do it. Yeah.
Now, I've noticed when the groups are singing, it's like a back and forth. Is it some type of a competition going on?
No, I don't think so. At least if there is that competitive element, I don't think so. No, I think the idea is that they one group sings and the other catches its breath, and this way you can go on for a long time.
Oh, okay.
A single,
so it's like a break.
Yeah, so a song, if you want to call it that, might last 20 minutes, and it's very intense and rhythmic, and people are singing loud, and I think it's a way of being able to go on for that long, but you get a chance to catch your breath after every line.
Okay. Now, where did this music originate from?
Well, it's pretty clear that it came from the Bhojpuri area of North India, which is like the western part of Bihar, eastern part of Uttar Pradesh, and it's, you know, village culture. It's a rural folk song style, and we know this because they sing it in Fiji in a pretty similar style, and the Fijians and the Indo-Caribbeans came from the same place, and also in that Bhojpuri region today they sing it in quite a similar style, and people have found old books with Chowtal texts going back to the 1860s, and so we know that it came from there. And if you go to any other part of India, they won't have heard of it.
Okay. Now you mentioned it was a similar style. What's the major difference between the singing in the Fiji and India compared to the Chowtal singing in the Caribbean?
Yeah. Well, I'm continuing to learn about this. It's a vast subject, and there are people like Rudy, Sasenarine, and Singh who know all about the different styles, even in Guyana, that are quite similar. I would say some of the things are the same, but then maybe in Berbice they sing it one way, and in Demerara they sing it another way, whatever. And likewise, the Trinidadians have their own favorite melodies. And then we had an event last summer where we brought some Fijians, we meaning the Raj Kumari Center really, I helped facilitate it, brought some Fijians who lived in California.
Wow. Okay.
But Chowtal was very popular there. And so they sang along, and the Guyanese were able to sing with them. The rhythm was a little different, the melodies were a little bit different. And then I've also had the good fortune to hear some Chowtal in India. And again, it's very similar, some of the same songs, some of the same, certainly the same rhythm modulations. But slight differences, and I'm sure if you tramped around the Bhojpuri area, which is vast, you would find some variations there too. But in some ways, what's more remarkable is the similarities, and especially since the Fijians and the Caribbeans have been, haven't had any contact
at
with
all,
the Bhojpuri region, with each other, or with India since 1917, or with that part of India.
Now, who originally sang Chowtal?
Well, it's mostly men, but women also do it. But it's a very sort of boisterous and festive and noisy kind of singing, and maybe Indian village women aren't supposed to act that way all the time. But women do sing it in India, and they do sing it in Fiji. What I think is a Caribbean innovation is to have men and women singing it together, which is nice when that happens.
So would you normally see women singing Chowtal in New York today?
Well, sure.
Now enjoy this piece of traditional Chowtal music, and when we come back, we'll continue this interesting and intriguing conversation with Professor Peter Manuel. Peter, your book, East Indian Music in the West Indies, Tan Singing, Chutney, and the Making of Indo-Caribbean Culture, won the Caribbean Studies Association Best Book Award in 2001. What inspired you to write this book?
Well, the more I started to learn about Indo-Caribbean music, Guyanese, Trinidadian, Surinamese, I found that they had, among other things, a whole system of what in India might be called sort of light classical music, but with kinds of music like Tumri and Drupad and Tilana and Lavani and Behag and so on, which were kinds of music that were familiar to me from my studies in India of classical music there. But
those are all styles of classical music.
Yes, or yeah, we could say so. Yeah.
Okay. Any of them folk or just classical?
No, they're more in the classical realm.
Okay.
But I soon learned that the way that the Guyanese and Trinidadians sang these was quite different from what would be heard in India. And then the more I studied, the more I learned that there was a whole system there, and this was really a unique kind of music that had evolved in the Caribbean and deserved to be documented.
Okay. Now, how was your experience? Did you go to Guyana to document this at all, the music?
I made one trip to Guyana of a couple of weeks. Most of my research on the Guyanese version of this was up here in New York City, which wasn't just out of laziness on my part, but we have some of the in New York City, some of the top performers here, such as Rudy, Sasenarine, other people. So I was able to learn a lot about the Guyanese style right here in New York City, and then I made several trips also to Trinidad and Suriname.
Okay. And how was your visit to the West Indies? How was your visit to Trinidad, Suriname, Guyana?
Well, I always love to go to these places. There's so much musical activity and so much richness in the Indo-Caribbean culture, new things like chutney, and then old things, old styles that maybe have died out in India, and then things like what they call tom singing in Guyana or local classical music in Trinidad that are totally unique. You wouldn't find them anywhere else, and they're beautiful.
Now, Peter, Holi's coming up next week. Now, I know you've traveled to India, you've traveled to Guyana, to Trinidad. How's the experience of Holi in India compared to, let's say, Guyana or New York?
Well, of course, they celebrate Holi with great enthusiasm in India, and I've seen it several places in North India, and they do it different ways. Different regions have their own different folk songs they sing and their own particular ways of celebrating it, but what you will find throughout North India is, of course, the throwing of rung, that is to say, colored powder or colored water, and I must say that I, as a foreigner, was always a favorite target for those. But as I was saying, they have different folk songs that they sing in different parts of India, and it would be only in that Bhojpuri region that you would hear Chowtal, which is something, of course, that's then carried over to the Caribbean and Fiji.
Okay. Now, we're going to have the cover of this on the website. That's www.lakshmi.com. And if anyone would like to purchase this book, you can send me an email, and we will contact you or Rudy or the Rajkumari Cultural Group, where you'll be able to purchase this book. Peter, I'd like to wish you a happy Holi. Will you be going to the parade next week?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to see you on the streets of Liberty Avenue. So, happy Holi. We'd like to thank you for coming down to Let's Talk with Lakshmi. It was a pleasure having you here, and I wish you all good fortune and good luck in your future trips to India and the Caribbean, and with all of the great work that you're doing right here in New York City.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Oh,
H. Singh, who is an authority, a master, a grandmaster at that, at Chowtal singing and Ramnaraine Gol singing. Uncle Tej, welcome to Let's Talk with Lakshmi.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Can you tell us where you're from in Guyana?
We born and grew up plantation Iceland, but we built house the Williams scheme, 1958. And 59, they put me for Ramnaraine leader. The priest said, I got no Ramnaraine Gold at the William. So they put me for leader. And from then we start to sing Ramnaraine and Chowtal, 1959.
So you've been doing this for over 60 years.
Yes, that's right. We sing over 60 years, but we the leader from 59 to come up to 78. And then we go over this country.
So how did you start singing Ramnaraine Gol and Chowtal singing?
Well, after the people them from India, them dead out and then gone, them Indian people, then we have to join the young people them who sing Ramnaraine Chowtal, and so come we start to sing with them. See? But nobody said that them show me this sing so or sing so, because we sing before already, different style, and we got the style of them and we start sing with them with the books, and still we start to get someone put on my head, and sing by head. But nowadays people don't want to do that, they only want books, read copy,
So no one taught you. You learned this pretty much on your own.
That's right, that's right.
Okay.
The Ramnaraine, who get question and answer, that we get from people. We get a priest from Chowtal, they call Shiv Pandit.
Okay.
So we learn a lots of story from the Ramnaraine. See, but all the Chowtal, we try with itself and come up with the Chowtal itself.
So you can read Hindi?
Yeah, can hear Hindi.
So when you were originally learning this Chowtal singing, you were reading this in Hindi, correct?
That's right. We learn Hindi from small days, And so come we sing bhajan with Mahabharat bhajan, Ramnaraine bhajan with them India man and thing. And Kavi Raj bhajan all can thing. But after them pass away, then we join the Chowtal Gol, the Ramnaraine Gol, and we start to sing Ramnaraine and Chowtal.
Okay. So now back from when you were younger, when you were a child singing Chowtal, to now, how would you say that the Chowtal singing has changed?
Well, the Chowtal singing changed because the people them only got couple Chowtal to sing. And then I want going more inside to sing more different Chowtal. So that's why we say change. That's the reason we say change. Then I learn a different style. You got Chahaka, you got Bhartal, you got Lej, all them things. The people when I sing them, the only goal is me goal sing the Lej and thing, Jhumar and thing, but the other goal them not sing them.
Okay.
And me goal is Mahatma Gandhi's son, that goal me dying. Only that the only goal is sing this song them.
Right.
Ekaba Barama, sign the Ramnaraine, the same goal, sing, not a goal, nothing.
Okay.
Because then I practice them.
Okay. Now, I have this book here that was compiled by Rudy, also by Professor Peter Manuel, and I know that you've been featured in this book. So I'm going to ask you to tell our viewers a little bit about the different types of Chowtal singing, such as, if I was to ask you, what is Jati?
Jati sing, we go sing Jati in different way,
Okay.
And the popular Jati what they were sing, Janani Samujhave Pita Mano Ho Dulari.
Okay. Can you sing a little piece for me?
Huh?
Can you sing a little piece?
Well,
You have your jal, right? I saw the jal somewhere. You came in with your jal. Where's your jal?
there.
So I want you to sing a little piece of Jati for our audiences.
Janani Samujhave Pita Ko Mano Ho Dulari. Priya Janani Samujhave Pita Ko Mano Ho Dulari. You're raised there,
The Hindi part.
Deriya ki berto hi bar jo lal tari ho suna gori re jasomate ke mati jai are apane man yaar jasomati ke mati jai ho Mohan sang ke rasar sayo Mohan sang ke rasar लोग लगावत गारी चननी समझावे सुता को मानो हो दुलारी.
Very impressive. So tell me, now the drummer, when Rudy has to play, how does he know when you're singing something with a slow tone or a fast beat?
Well, you
How
see
does he
how
know?
you sing the song,
Uh-huh.
them know the hand them. And sometimes when for raise and thing, they watch you, or you sign them for raise, or you clap your jaw, and them don't know where they go raise now, and they know so much verse after you drop. So they know all of that, you can play drum plan already. So they know this style and everything. See, all the drum of them, I do the same thing, You just go for either you call upon them, or you sign them, or you clap your jaw, different, and then don't know well. The thing could stop now or come up now.
Uncle Tej, we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you to actually go through the different types of Chowtal singing, and I want to get a little glimpse, a little touch, a little taste of all of the different styles of Chowtal singing. So if I was to ask you to sing a Jumar, what would you sing for us?
Sing Jhumar sing like this. Pragate Sri Krishna Murari Dina Hitakari Eyali. Pragate Sri Krishna Murari Dina Hitakari Eyali. भादोसव दिवस रोहानी नक्षत्र बिचारी त्रिदेव की के गोद जन्म लीन है बनवारी भादोसव दिवस रोहानी नक्षत्र बिचारी श्रीदेव की के गोद जन्म लीन है बनवारी श्रीदेव की के गोद जन्म लीन है बनवारी करके सरिस चार भुज सुंदर करके सरिस चार भुज सुंदर श्रुति कुंडलयल सवारी दीन हितकारी हेयाली. Pardon.
Thank you. Can you sing me a piece of Lage?
Lage. You got 3 legs. Very good, popular one.
Okay.
Shri Krishna Charan ki Balihari, Shri Krishna Charan ki Balihari, Shri Krishna Charan ki Balihari, Shri Krishna Charan ki Balihari. माथे से चंदन यतर सुगंधन जगबंधन है बनवारी टोपी सिर सो है सब जग मोह मोहि रही ब्रिज की नारी सुरत विशाल निरख निहाल गोपाल लाल की छवि न्यारी श्री कृष्ण चरण की बालिया.
Uncle Tej, it was a great pleasure to come into your home and have this interview with you. It is definitely something that I can say I can document as history in Chowtal making.
Thank you very much.
And it was my pleasure to interview the first generation of Chowtal singers in our Indo-Caribbean community. Chowtal singing is so much like our Indo-Caribbean people. It migrates, but it somehow survives despite adversity. May this Holi renew your spirit to live as vibrantly as the colors of this earth and the music of its people. Here's wishing you and your family a happy Holi. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Let's talk.
होरी खेले रघुबीरा अवध में होरी खेले रघुबीरा होरी खेले रघुबीरा अवध में होरी खेले रघुबीरा अरे होरी खेले रघुबीरा अवध में होरी खेले रघुबीरा होरी खेले रघुबीरा अवध में होरी खेले रघुबीरा हाँ हिल मिल आवे लोग लुगाई हिल मिल आवे लोग लुगाई हिल मिल आवे लोग लुगाई भाई महाराज में धीरा अवध में